The sky was still black, the moon a pale slice above the jagged hills, casting its cold light over a sleeping world. A thin mist clung to the ground, curling through the tall grass like a living thing. Tura crouched low, knees pressing into the damp soil, his breath forming white clouds that vanished almost as soon as they appeared. The night air tasted of earth and stone, sharp and clean, with a faint metallic tang carried from the river beyond. Beside him, two other hunters crouched in silence. Var, broad-shouldered and slow-moving but steady as rock, and Sena, lean and wiry, her eyes glinting in the dim light like those of a fox. In the stillness, the world seemed to hold its breath. Somewhere far off, a lone night-bird gave a low, hollow call before going quiet again. Every sound mattered here. The whisper of a branch, the sudden hush of insects. The wrong noise could send their prey fleeing into the dark and leave the clan hungry for another day. Ahead, no more than 20 paces away, the great elk grazed near the water's edge, its silhouette framed by the silver shimmer of the moonlit river. Its head was massive, crowned with antlers that could split a man's skull. The beast's breath steamed in the cold air, each exhale a cloud that rose and broke apart. Tura's stomach clenched not from fear, but from the deep ache of hunger. The clan had eaten nothing but bitter roots and a handful of berries for 2 days. The children's eyes had grown dull, their ribs showing too sharply beneath skin. This kill would mean life. The hunters moved in unison, shifting their weight carefully from one foot to the other, pressing the grass down silently beneath them. Their spears were crude but deadly, shafts of ash wood tipped with obsidian points chipped to a razor's edge. Every step brought them deeper into the web of risk, close enough to strike, close enough to die. The wind shifted. It came from behind them now, carrying their scent to the elk. Its head shot up, muscles rippling beneath its hide. Its ears twitched, turning toward them. Time fractured into 2 possibilities, the hunt's triumph or its ruin. Tura's heart hammered. He tightened his grip on the spear until his knuckles whitened, feeling the coarse fibers of the leather binding. Sena's eyes flicked toward him, a silent question. He gave the smallest nod. The elk's body tensed, its nostrils flared. A single step backward, then another. Not a full retreat, not yet. Tura rose half a breath higher, legs coiled, ready to surge forward. In that fragile space between stillness and chaos, he heard the pounding in his own ears and felt the old truth in his bones. Survival was never certain. The moment broke like ice underfoot. The elk lunged away from the water and the hunters sprang, spears flashing in the moonlight. Night pressed in on the small circle of firelight, swallowing the world beyond its trembling glow. The fire cracked and hissed, sparks bursting upward only to fade into the deep black sky. Around it, the clan sat close, their bodies forming a living wall against the cold. Shadows of their hunched figures swayed and leapt on the rough walls of the surrounding rocks, as if the ancestors themselves were dancing in the flicker of the flames. Tura sat nearest the fire, the heat warming his face while his back felt the breath of the night creeping in. Across the flames, Sena turned the spit slowly, her hands steady, though the smell of roasting meat made her mouth water. The elk's flesh, scored and browned, dripped fat into the fire, sending up small bursts of flame and an aroma so rich it seemed to draw the hunger from every belly in the camp. The clan's eyes followed each turn of the meat as though hypnotized. Children clung to their mothers, their eyes wide, not only from hunger but from the unease that always came with nightfall. The dark here was not a quiet emptiness. It was alive. Beyond the firelight, the forest spoke in its own language, the snap of a branch, the whisper of leaves disturbed by something large. From time to time, pairs of faint eyes blinked in the distance, not the glitter of curiosity, but the cold focus of predators watching from the safety of shadow. The fire was their shield, a fragile circle that kept the teeth of the world at bay. Every person knew its importance. Without it, the forest would fold in on them, and they would vanish into its belly like so many before. Var fed the flames carefully, adding thick branches one at a time. He never let them burn too low, and he never let them flare too high. Fire, too, could bring danger, if seen from far away, An elder, her hair white as ash, began to speak. She traced shapes in the dirt with a charred stick, her voice low and rhythmic. She told of rivers that spoke in dreams, of the sun that rose each day because a great bird carried it in its beak across the sky, of spirits that lived in the flames and watched over those who respected them. Her stories were more than tales. They were instructions, rules carried through time to keep the living alive. The children leaned closer, their fear folding into fascination. Even the adults listened, their eyes reflecting the fire as if it burned inside them. The smell of cooked meat grew stronger. Tura's stomach twisted in anticipation. But he knew they would not eat until the elders' words were finished. This was their way. Somewhere in the trees, a low growl rolled through the night, deep enough to stir the earth beneath their feet. The fire hissed as fat dripped into it. No one turned to look. They stayed in the light, holding fast to the small world the flames had made, while the dark watched and waited. At first light, the clan gathered at the river's edge, their breaths rising in pale clouds against the chill. The mist clung low, wrapping the world in a ghostly veil, softening the jagged shapes of stone and tree. Across the current lay an unfamiliar land, a place whispered about in the elders' stories, rich with game, fresh shelter, perhaps safety. But no story told what else might live there. The river was wide, its surface broken by swift ripples that caught the light of the rising sun. Tura stepped forward, spear in hand, testing the icy bite of the water against his skin. It numbed his feet almost instantly, but he did not hesitate. Behind him, the others waited, some clutching bundles of dried meat and tools, others holding children close. The crossing meant leaving behind the old hunting grounds, the sheltering rocks, even the graves of those who had fallen. The wind tugged at their hair, erasing the last of their footprints from the muddy bank as if the land itself was letting them go. Tura pushed deeper, the current pulling at his legs. Each step into the unknown felt heavier, yet it was the only path forward. Ahead, the silent land watched,